Hey guys, welcome back to some more F1 2018 and part 7 of our Mercedes career mode. And in today's episode we are taking part in the Canadian Grand Prix, and the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve is my favourite on the calendar. Absolutely fantastic circuit in my opinion in Canada. And yeah, the season's been going okay so far. Last couple of episodes have ended in disappointment, shall we say. Particularly the last episode. We have had some R&D come onto... no, we haven't actually. We've invested in a few R&D... they're not R&D developments. Research and development is R&D, so... yeah, I'm speaking nonsense, but yeah, 3 upgrades we've got in the pipeline for the next Grand Prix in France, which will really help the car. I mean, if you look on the right-hand side, with all of these added to the car, we should be up to half a second quicker than Ferrari, which would be insane, but they're going to come back at us at some point, and I certainly want to save some R&D points for next year. Should there be a regulation change, which is possible in F1 2018. So there's the sort of progress graph. It looks like Red Bull have brought a big upgrade here, so they should be on par with Ferrari, who've also brought an upgrade here. Who else have? Force India look like they have, as have Williams and Sauber. So the ones to stand still are McLaren, Toro Rosso and Renault, interestingly enough. And us, we haven't brought any upgrades here, but we have been upgrading very well throughout the season. As you can see, we've probably made the most progress of any team so far, and the potential is just getting better and better inside this car. So, without further ado, I'll now hand over to future Joe, who should be in Q3, and hoping to go for another pole position. But before that, I will show you. We have upgraded the AI difficulty. We've now... I didn't mean to go into assists. We've now moved on to 98, so we're now only 3 points off ultimate difficulty. So we may end up moving to that at some point this season. But I'll now hand over to qualifying, and hopefully everything's going swimmingly. So here we are in Q3, and we have been hit with a bombshell that we have a problem with the coolant system, and that's going to take about 6 minutes to fix, which is, you know, half of the session, which, you know, is going to be quite tough to deal with, to be honest with you. So far, Lewis Hamilton has been imperious. He's been about 0.6 of a second quicker than the rest of the field at the moment. We're probably contending for second place. I'm not sure we can match him in the middle sector, where he's just been mighty. Third sector, we're the quickest by about 1/10, so it is all going to be about that middle sector. But will we get the chance? It says repair time 6 minutes. Hopefully it will be fixed by that point, but if not, who knows what's going to happen. Jeff's telling us to get out there, but we have got a fault. We've just got to sit here. It's frustrating, but quite cool to see in the game nonetheless. So here we are then, with 4 minutes 50 to go. Lewis Hamilton currently on pole, 0.2 quicker than Sebastian Vettel. They are performing really, really well. I don't know whether we should just go out for 1 run. We might be able to make 2 if we go out now. So let's go and do it. Let's try and snatch pole position from Lewis and get a 3rd one in a row. That would be pretty damn crazy. Well, here we go, guys. We're about to complete our first lap. I mean, this is going to be nowhere near. Lewis Hamilton has done a 1:08.7. We're going to really, really struggle to get anywhere close to that. We're coming up to the line now. It might be in the 1:09s. It is. It's good enough for second place, but we're still nearly a second off the pace of Lewis Hamilton. That is insane pace, and I think that might be our only lap at it, simply because we don't have enough time to come in, get the fuel in, get the tyres changed. So that is where we're going to be starting for the Canadian Grand Prix tomorrow. Lewis Hamilton has absolutely smashed it. Surely nobody is going to match that.
1 minute 9.
As we wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top three. Hamilton, the captain, and Sebastian Vettel. It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the Grand Prix itself gets underway.
So there we have it. Lewis Hamilton is on pole for tomorrow. I mean, it says a 193 there. I'm sure it said a 187. Yeah, because when we went through, we were 8/10ths down, I remember, but maybe that time got deleted for some reason, or it's some sort of glitch. I really don't know. But Lewis Hamilton is on pole for the Canadian Grand Prix. We are in second, with Vettel in third and Raikkonen down in fifth. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting race tomorrow. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and who knows what can happen. Hopefully it'll be a better outcome than the last two Grand Prix. David Croft and Anthony Davidson will take you through the Canadian Grand Prix.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. It's a tricky circuit to tackle in wet conditions, with top speed still of critical importance down the long back straight. There are 2.7 miles and 14 corners overall on a circuit that in the dry can see average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour. We'll be lucky to get anywhere near that today. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Red Bull. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and the captain completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Kimi Raikkonen, and Hülkenberg, Alonso, Grosjean, Ocon, and Sergio Perez. Van Dorn, Magnussen, Sergei Sirotkin and Sainz. They've taken a grid penalty. Stroll, Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly and Marcus Ericsson. Leclerc and Brendan Hartley rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Great starting position for us. Let's see if we can improve on that in the race.
Right guys, we are down on the track here in Canada, and it is a fully wet race. The first time we are going to experience the intermediate tyres. It looks like it might get a little bit drier towards the end, but nothing can be certain. What can be certain though is that there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be our first race in the wet, and hopefully we'll be good enough come through it. Lots of wheel spin off the start.
Right, let's get the car up to temperature.
That's not what we want.
Learning the gears, so go through them all if you can.
But what is good about this Grand Prix is that we have a fresh gearbox in the car, so hopefully all the nonsense from the last couple of Grand Prix should be gone in terms of the broken gearbox. But yeah, this is going to be tough. Visibility is very poor, and you can even see the flashes of people's camera in the grandstand. That's how dark it is, and this is just going to be very, very difficult. But hopefully you guys are good. Thank you for all the support on the series so far. Really do appreciate it. Hello to all the new subscribers as well. Hopefully you enjoy your stay here at CaptainGoodspeed. We will be continuing with daily F1 content as long as you guys are enjoying it, and as long as I'm enjoying the game as well. But so far, favourite F1 game since F1 2010. If there's ever a game that I can see myself do multiple seasons on, it's this one. So, yeah, I'm just very nervous as to what's going to happen. I don't know, maybe put in lean mix and maybe high, or try something different on the start. Obviously, wheel spin has been a big problem, and in the wet, that could be fatal for our race. So, once we're done in the middle of Lewis Hamilton, we'll hopefully line up in our grid position. And we do actually make the move over. And once again, we are angling our car towards Lewis Hamilton, but he has got the advantage of having the inside line. This is going to be a very intense start to the Canadian Grand Prix. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and hopefully I'll manage to put in some sort of good performance. Lights out, away we go. It was an excruciating long wait, but that was a very, very good start, you would have to say. We got off the line very well. We've just got to discover where the grip is on this track. It hasn't been raining all weekend, so this is our first venture into wet weather stuff on this game. Very, very intense indeed. Obviously it was raining a little bit in Canada earlier, in China earlier on in the season, but we were still on the slick tyres. So this is our true first test in the wet conditions. We're going to move up into rich fuel mix. Hamilton is bolting, but he's been doing that all weekend, to be quite honest with you. He has been on top, and I don't expect that to change in the race, but hopefully we can settle in and maybe use these conditions to our advantage. We had a little bit of contact here with Max Verstappen. Hopefully we'll be able to repass him on the straight, but I think we just went a little bit wider. He thought there was an inside line that he could go for, but alas, he was wrong, and we managed to make it through and actually gain quite a bit of an advantage through that final chicane. We have been mighty in the third sector. I think until Lewis Hamilton's pole lap we were purple all weekend, pretty much through that third sector.
On the MG UK. To manage this, we'll need to lower our ERS deployment mode.
So the MG UK is under strain, which is a little bit of a problem, you know. I think we only get two of them in the season, so you know we need to really get that to the summer break. But yeah, we're starting to settle in now, and hopefully we can start chipping away at the gap to Lewis Hamilton. Gasly is out of the race now. Is that going to bring out a safety car at all? Or I think it's going to be okay. But yeah, we lost a bit of traction out of that final hairpin again, so struggling for traction out of that corner at the moment. But no, Lewis Hamilton leading the way. We're in second. Max Verstappen has jumped Sebastian Vettel into third, so very interesting for the title fight at the moment. Let's see what our time is like compared to Hamilton. It's about 7/10 slower, so much better second lap than our first, but still a lot of work to do. Well, look at that for a fastest lap. Look at that for a fastest lap, everyone. A 1:21 flat. That's smashed Lewis's fastest lap by a second. We are starting to get into these conditions, most definitely. We're starting to push, and we're coming in this lap, so we're going to have fresh tyres on the car and hopefully some clear air to push in once we've been in. This is starting to look really, really good. And a good battle is going to ensue. So here we come into the pits, guys. We need to get that down to the limit and we're in. That was a pretty good entry. And we're straight into the pits. And we're away 2.7 seconds. We can be happy with that. We can be very, very happy with that.
Some information on Hulkenberg. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
We're away.
No more scheduled pit stops.
And hopefully we're out ahead. We're out ahead of Hulkenberg, who, as it's been said, has a mechanical problem, so he's probably quite slow at the minute. But we've got pretty much a pit stop over Vettel, unless he's already been in and got a massive undercut. Then Vettel is struggling today, and we should hopefully see some on-track action. But it'll be interesting to see whether Lewis comes in this lap or whether he'll stay out one lap longer. Here we go into the final hairpin.
10 minutes left of this rain, then we think it's going to dry up. 10 minutes.
So 10 minutes of rain left, so it's going to dry up pretty much right at the end of the race, so I don't think it's going to affect anything. But still be interesting to see, will Vettel pit? No. So did Lewis pit? That's the next question. He might not have. I don't think he did, so it's all on us really to put in some good laps. You know, technically Lewis doesn't have to pit. He might stay out there on the no-stop strategy. Okay guys, we've got a good exit. We're right in Vettel's slipstream. This has got to be the chance where we take Vettel here and back onto the podium. A little bit of oversteer, but we're through. We're back up into third place. I'm starting to get worried that Lewis isn't going to pit though, so we need to get past Verstappen so we can start eating into the time that Lewis is ahead. Now have a chance to overtake Max Verstappen in exactly the same manner.
Teammate by 22.9 seconds.
And we're through. Very well played. But surely Lewis is committing to not coming in now. Because if he does, then surely we're going to end up ahead of him. So, Operation Catch Up to Lewis is now on. Okay, Lewis Hamilton is in the pit lane. This is going to be where the race is decided. Hamilton is in the pits. What can we do now? I think we put all the boosts on to try and get past him, and then worry about about holding them off after. But here we go. He's in the pit lane. He's leaving the pit lane now. Virtual safety car. No.
Positive delta. Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
Right, we need to virtually stop. And it's okay. Well, that's annoying.
VSC ending, we're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
And we're back up to racing speed, but you have to say the VSC has probably stopped any chance of us winning this race. Lewis Hamilton is ahead, and that's why you should look where you're going, because that could have ended worse. But yeah, Lewis Hamilton's done the overcut on us, and he's probably gained time rather than anything else. So there you go, 6.5 seconds. We were down to 5.5. but he's worked it as advantage. He's waited for Verstappen and Vettel to pit, and now he's in clear air. So, yeah, well done, Lewis. You've won the battle there. Well, guys, it's been a tough race. We've battled well, but it's going to be Lewis Hamilton that comes round and wins the Canadian Grand Prix. He has been dominant this weekend. Can we take the fastest lap off him, though? I'm not sure we can. I won 20.7.
Super driving, really strong pace. Very, very happy.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Well, the lead at the top has come down after a poor result for our points leader. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I'm going to go for Marcus Ericsson. He's clearly got a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, and he's matured a lot over the past few seasons, which served him well today.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders, who lose ground at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.
So there we have it then. Lewis Hamilton wins the Canadian Grand Prix. We finish in second place. Our pace was fairly similar, but it was won in the pit stops. The overcut was what won it. I thought the undercut would help us, but then we got trapped in traffic behind Vettel and Verstappen. Sorry about that. But yeah, Verstappen finishes third, Raikkonen fourth, with Vettel in fifth. Perez finishing a good sixth. Alonso a cracking seventh for McLaren. Ericsson eighth, Grosjean ninth, and Leclerc in 10th. So what does that mean for the championship standings? Well, Kimi Raikkonen still leads the way, 18 points ahead of ourselves in second. Lewis has jumped up to third as well, but still the top 6 drivers now within 34 points of the championship lead. What happened to Daniel Ricciardo today? I didn't actually see it. 13th was Ricciardo, so he didn't really have the best of races. But let's continue on, see if we've got any press things to do. I know we haven't really...
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective.
Done this in a while.
You must be getting used to it up there.
Power unit.
How do you feel the weather affected the outcome today? That was an epic battle today. How do you think this will play out?
There you go. Some nice comments. Oh, here we go.
End your race with that crash.
With what crash? There we go. And I didn't have a crash, but yeah. Anyway, going into the weighing bridge now. But no, very, very strong performance, you would say, from Mercedes in that Grand Prix, and we've got 3 upgrades coming next weekend for the French Grand Prix. So exciting times at Mercedes. You can certainly see that the rivalry is getting interesting between myself and Lewis. We're nearly there in terms of beating Raikkonen. We should do it as long as we finish the next race. But if you have enjoyed this episode, then make sure you do leave a like down below. It really does help me out. It means a lot to me as well. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.